News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show.
Hey there. Here I am back with my peoples. All 11 of my listeners. I love you so much. Oh, I love you so much. Coming into the big dangerous city tonight, I make observations. You know why? Because I'm the most observant person in the world. So I observe. And I have found myself looking at the peoples when I get off the interstate. And I get off the interstate at exit 10A to come to the radio station, which is in the heart of the big dangerous city. And I'm coming down. Is it called Wilkinson? Is that what it's called?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm coming down Wilkinson. And I pass by that Pinky's, little restaurant, Pinky's, little hippie restaurant. They got a fish sandwich that's crazy. You should know that about me if you're one of the 11 listeners and you haven't listened to me for the 30 other years that I've been on the radio in Charlotte. You need to know about me that I love a fish sandwich. So that Pinky's not an ad for them, but I'm just telling you. I don't like the fact that I always have to eat out of some sort of a basket, though. I'm not a basket eater. I want a plate. They serve you in a basket. It's like, excuse me, could I have my fish sandwich on a plate instead of in a basket? But that doesn't happen. They have baskets. But they also have waffle fries, which I'm not as crazy about waffle fries as most white people are. I mean, you get white people going off about those Chick-fil-A waffle fries. It's just incredible. But I could take them or leave them. But anyway, they have the waffle fries and they're covered in pimento cheese. That's good. But it's off topic. So when I get off the interstate and I start coming down onto the side streets of the big dangerous city, I have a problem. I have a profiling problem because every person that I see that is, dressed nicely in athleisure wear or whatever, I automatically assume they're liberals. I look at them and I go, oh, hey, that's a nice looking liberal couple. Oh, that's a cute girl, little liberal girl jogging. Oh, look at all those liberals out there playing volleyball in that grassy area. I just assume that every young person that's active outside in the big dangerous city on the side streets are liberals. And maybe I shouldn't do that. But tells me most of the time, though, that I'm usually right. Because Charlotte is a liberal city. You know, if it weren't for Charlotte and Raleigh, I think it's just those two. That if you turned these two cities Republican in voting, that North Carolina would just never be anything but Republican. That the two, just like every other place, the big cities are bringing everybody else down with their political views and all. But I may, if I have time, stop and ask, just, hey, I'm doing a quick survey. And obviously they'll recognize me and they'll be like, oh my God, is that? And I'll go, yeah, it is. I said, I'm just a personal survey here. Are y'all liberals? Y'all always vote Democrat? And they'll probably say yes. And I'll go, all right. And then if they go to shake my hand, I'll go, ooh, no, get away. Yuck. No, I have a lot of liberal friends. Well, I wouldn't say a lot. That's stretching it a lot. I got a few. But I don't know what it is. Because I really do get paranoid knowing, big city crime and whatnot. when I see all these people gathered and they're just out in the middle of a field in the city that's on a side street, I'm thinking, what's going on out there? Y'all crazy. I drive right in here, get behind the gates, lock it behind me. Like the other night, Lonnie Ray parked in a different area of the parking lot. I said, "What are you doing? Are you crazy?" Obviously he is. I'm not gonna lie to you, ladies and gentlemen, because I never do. That's the thing about my style of hosting a radio show, is that I'll show you how the sausage is made. I'm just out there for you. That's how we bond with one another. You're human, I'm human. And I had a rough one today. Oh. So, I got that other job that I get paid to do, the morning radio job that I do that's syndicated and all. And then I come in and do this one for free. But I've been telling you a little bit about this, but I've, with the money paying show, I've been in a studio in Mooresville, close to my house, where we used to come into Charlotte every day when it was the Ace and TJ show. We were driving back and forth from Mooresville to Charlotte every day for years. Well, probably 20 years or more. So we busted out on our own and we built a studio in Mooresville, close to our homes. Well, we just got a system that's now called the TJ and Riggins Show. We just got a system that is video for YouTube and all of that kind of stuff. And the video hooks us all up from our houses. And the audio quality of it is just, if you're only listening on the radio or on a podcast, it sounds like we're in a studio. So we were renting the studio space, and I had to be out of it. Today was the last day, and had these big desks that were put together just for like specs for the way our show ran, so we could all see each other and still have a desk. And I always thought they were connected, but they weren't. And it has been so much trouble to get somebody, because I wanted somebody to take them, not even sell it, but I wanted them to be, in use, because they were very nice, or so I thought. So the people from a charity came to get them today. And they were going to, I was donating them, quote unquote, but they use a subcontractor of a junk company that came in, and they were supposed to take them to the place to resell them as a donation. And when they went to pick them up, the desks fell apart. I mean, it was just it was like paper holding them together. And we've been using them for 4 years. So now I'm looking at not how they're just going to take them as a donation. Now I'm looking at how much is it going to cost me for them to take them away, these desks. So it was hectic, and I didn't have a lot of time to do the show preparation that I normally do for this show, all of the research and everything. By the way, it was $300. Oh, well, a little over $300 to get them to haul it away. So I went from donating and being a good Samaritan, charitable, to you owe us $300. Your stuff is so messed up, you got to pay us $300 just to get it out of here. And they knew I had to be out by the end of the day, and I'm coming to work and all this stuff. So anyway, I may be a little scattered tonight on the show. So the key is, listen to the entire show just to see if I fall apart at any time. That'll be fun, right? But I do have some ideas of some things on which I need to elaborate. I'm usually, I can explain all of it later. Just make sure you keep listening throughout the show. If the AM signal goes out, then you got the FM signal. If that goes out, then you got the live stream. You can do it all. We got you covered. But this is a show you don't want to miss. That's what I'm saying. And we'll get into it fully coming up next.
More of the TJ Ritchie Show is coming up on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Hear the TJ Ritchie Show every weeknight at 7 Eastern. Stream it live at tjritchie.com or listen later as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or My Media Center at tjritchie.com. You'll be so glad you did, hopefully. That's tjritchie.com.
Identifying liberalism and mocking it relentlessly. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Yep. This is it. All right, so I told you I'm going to be a little scattered tonight. You know, late second adjustments and things like that on the fly. Big fly. You could help me out if you want. Call in here with something compelling and entertaining and whatnot. 704-570-1110. That is 704-570-1110. Same number to text. 704-570-1110. The text line, of course, driven by Liberty Buick GMC. See me, love me. Okay. I can't believe that, well, I guess I can, but that this story about Sydney Sweeney, who is the hottest young actor in the world right now, and not just, like, I'm not saying hot, like, oh, she's so hot, like looking and all of that. She's very young, and I'm not. So I'm not going to be the old perv sitting here going, oh, man, you see her. Now, I would have been a young perv doing that, but I'm not going to be an old perv doing it.
I'll do it. I'll stand up.
Yeah, I know you will. So here's what's going on now. All right, so you know, because we've talked about it every night. I was the one that broke the story, as far as you know. She does an ad for a commercial. I call them commercials like older people call them. I call it a commercial. She does a commercial for American Eagle jeans. Jeans and jeans. G and J. Play on words. Blonde hair. Blue eyes. She's got great jeans, the commercial says. Well, the lunatics on the left took off with that, saying that it's Nazi propaganda and all of this stuff. And I still say that American Eagle Company should find every person that went public and said things like that is straight up Nazi propaganda, no doubt about it, those types of things, and hit them with a defamation lawsuit. Just as hard as you can hit them with it. Like a dog and a newspaper on its nose. Just swat them on the nose with that lawsuit. But, Isaac, can you pull up cut 22, please? All right, you ready? And this is one that has really stood out, and everybody's been posting this today. It's gone super viral. And this is a young woman in the mirror doing her makeup while she's giving us her philosophy on the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle Nazi controversy. Okay, listen.
I really wasn't going to weigh in on this, but here we go. It is so difficult to grow up as a person of color, specifically a woman, and view yourself as beautiful in any sense of the word growing up in this country. I remember growing up in a predominantly white community, wishing myself out of this body, out of this culture, take my name, if it meant that I could wake up blonde-haired and blue-eyed, never having to explain who I am or worry about being accepted. That is why this American Eagle ad with Sydney Sweeney is especially off-putting. There's a lot of rhetoric right now online about the political ideologies that this represents, and I don't discount that, but for me, I can't help but think about the 13-year-old brown girl who gets all her denim him at American Eagle, who already struggles to see her beauty and worth in a world that continues to value white, Eurocentric beauty standards, which I naively thought by this point we would have moved the needle on. And this girl is now wishing she too could wake up with blonde hair and blue eyes. It took me so long, too long in my life to look in the mirror and see beauty. And I hate that continues to be a shared experience for young brown girls in this country.
Okay, that clip has so many different elements in it that say so much about where our culture is and how deeply in the gutter our culture has become with hatred of white people. All right. Now, I usually don't stay on the same topic for very long at a time. I'm not the type of host that will, we're still talking about this and taking your calls, and that's kind of why you don't hear a whole lot of people calling on this show, is because I'll do something and hit it and get everything out that I want to say about it, and then boom, I move to the next thing. So I'm always trying to keep things moving into where you don't get bored or say, all right, I'm sick of this, move on. And that comes from my background of being a top 40 morning show. Okay. It served me well over the years, but I'm trying to integrate, just to be honest with you, I'm trying to integrate the two techniques. Part of the top 40 technique that I've always used in morning radio and news talk tactics. And I think they're going to be it's going to end up being a beautiful marriage. So I am going to stay on this topic for several segments because there's so much to it. First of all, what we have here is someone who is trying to seize an opportunity to be a victim. Because on the left, the most valuable thing you can have in your life is victimhood. Or it has been for a long time. So she's spouting off all of these ridiculous things about this commercial, who they say that having blue eyes and blonde hair and being beautiful like Sydney Sweeney, that means you've got good genes. All right. And I went through this the other night, and I'll say it again. Having white people characteristics is not offensive. Being white is not offensive or scary. You're making this stuff up. You're either making it up because you're trying to score political points or you're trying to manipulate some people one way or the other, or you're just obtuse. You're either shady or ignorant if you're going by this commercial and saying that it's Nazi propaganda. Okay, so we got that out of the way. There's a disgusting, slimy piece of crap political commentator, race baiter, anti-white racist, just a terrible, disgusting guy. And his name is Mark Lamont Hill. And I try to bring in clips of Mark Lamont Hill spewing all the hate that he does and all of the, where he's just pulling anything out of his pocket that he can call racism, and because that's what he does. He's a race hustler. That's how he makes a living. And he's just an idiot. But I haven't been able to bear listening to and breaking down comments from him to bring to you because I can't stand him. I just can't take him. But I did hear him say one thing today, and it seems to be what the intellectuals like Mark Lamont Hill are latching onto with this situation to keep it going so they can keep, pressing the button of racism. I don't know what Mark, how he would feed himself, if he couldn't turn everything possible into something racist. You know, like he'd probably get mad if he came in here and saw that I'm writing with black ink on the white paper, telling me that I'm culturally appropriating biracialness, because I'm not biracial, but I'm taking black ink and putting it on white paper, and then that's me making fun of biracial people. He's that ridiculous. Okay, so he said something that all of them have been saying, and I'm going to break that down for you. And it's not just about the Sydney Sweeney situation. This is about our culture, where it's gone, and the fact that it's not going there anymore, and the left can't take it. They don't know how to act. I don't know how to act. Okay? So we'll get into all that, and I'll try to sound smart next.
The TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Hear the TJ Ritchie Show every weeknight at 7 Eastern. Stream it live at tjritchie.com or listen later as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or my media center at tjritchie.com. You'll be so glad you did, hopefully. That's tjritchie.com.
He's radio royalty in the Carolinas and Queen Charlotte's sweetest prince. It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
All right, we're on a roll here. We're on a roll. I hope you're staying with me, because I'm, as the kids say, dropping knowledge. That's what I'm doing, dropping knowledge. So we're still talking about this American Eagle ad with Sydney Sweeney, the beautiful white girl, blue eyes, blonde hair, ample bosom. She is a sex symbol in the popular culture. And probably the number one young celebrity in popularity that we have right now. So all the lunatic left people, this ad, because she talks about her having good genes that gave her blonde hair and blue eyes, and all, they're saying that it's Nazi propaganda and all of that. And then the disgusting Mark Lamont Hill, the race hustler, saw a piece of him on a panel on Piers Morgan's show. He has him on there a lot. And then I've heard a lot of other people who are coming in, onto the social media as intellectuals, and they're throwing out the term eugenics. This is eugenics. They're promoting, American Eagle is promoting eugenics. Now, eugenics, I get it. That is bad business. That is terrible. Awful. Eugenics is a way of controlling birth and a way of administering birth control and abortions in order to weed out the weak and to try to build a better society. Determining the people who are unfit to breed, quote unquote. And it is a Nazi thing. It was invented before Nazism, but Hitler adopted it and made it, his mission. That's where they get that it's Nazi propaganda to say you want light eyes and blonde hair. Okay? Now they know they're full of crap. They know they are. But I'm wanting somebody, when they bring up eugenics and how awful it is, I want somebody to point out to these leftists that one of their heroes is the queen of eugenics. One of their heroes that's celebrated as one of the strongest feminists to ever live. Did so much for humankind. Her name, Margaret Sanger. Margaret Sanger. A racist to her soul. A vile, disgusting, racist, and creator of Planned Parenthood. What? Planned Parenthood? Margaret Sanger was a founder in Planned Parenthood? And what racial group gets more abortions every year than any other? That's right. Black women do. So how is it that Margaret Sanger and Planned Parenthood get a pass for probably by now over a century of eugenics? Not only do they get a pass from communicrats and liberals, they get celebrated. They use Margaret Sanger's principles as their number one campaign issue every time. As a matter of fact, that is the defining issue between Republicans and conservatives and Democrats. It's abortion and Planned Parenthood. So which is it? Is eugenics awful, or are you going to celebrate eugenics and the queen of eugenics every opportunity you get? Democrats. Oh, nobody's pointed that out, I guess. Doesn't make sense to me. Now, another thing is that it's something that I've talked about for years, and that is this scale of targets in advertising. If you watch TV that has commercials in it, for years, they've had this scale of who gets targeted the most and then who gets celebrated the most in advertisements. Now, over the past few years, it's gotten out of control since the whole crazy George Floyd mess that the Democrats turned into, such a huge deal. But the always bottom of the scale when it comes to advertising, and the group that always is ready to be there, either not included in a commercial because they're so offensive, or they're the target of every commercial where they're the goofball, the idiot, the person that needs to be shown like a child what the good product is to use, and that is the masculine white man. Always bottom of the barrel in advertising. And then it goes up from there. But the one that is at the top of the heap has always been like the one that is always the hero of the commercial, the one that all the rest of them stand around and just in awe of or laughing at because she's trying to be funny and sassy and all of that, is the black woman, but not black good-looking woman, black overweight woman. Not that you can't be good-looking overweight. I just like petite women. But that's the one. That's the queen. Never joke about her. But now what we're seeing is that you have a positive commercial about a straight white woman, and they mention that she's beautiful because of her traits that she got from her genes, which happen to be blue eyes and blonde hair. So it's not offensive to say that somebody has good genes or something. It's offensive to these idiots because they don't know how to react when somebody is saying good things about white people. Here's an example. Odell Beckham Jr. from my home state of Louisiana, LSU star, NFL star, just retired, okay? His mom was a track star at LSU, and she was an Olympic competitor in track and field. His dad was one of the best running backs that LSU has had. So they talk about Odell Beckham's genes all the time. His good genes. He got athleticism from his mom and his dad, those good genes. Nobody says a word about it. But you let something come out that is not degrading about a straight white person, and they don't know how to handle it. They're like children who just got told no for the first time. That's why they're acting like this. So that's another aspect of it. And usually they only allow straight white women in TV commercials if they are being dominant over their husbands or something like that. That's why so many car commercials now, the woman is always driving in the car commercial. And the man's in the passenger seat, reaching back and taking care of the kids or whatever. Because the woman has to be shown in control. So there's none of that in this. It's just this girl is hot. She's the hottest actress right now. She agreed to do our commercials, and we are going to flaunt that we got Sydney Sweeney, and she's hot. She's beautiful. I think it's a really good campaign, actually, as far as creativity and playing on the words and the whole thing. And I know these things because I'm in advertising. I'm advertising all over the place. Okay. I think that was all on that topic, but I'm not sure. So during the break, I will think about it a little more, which is painful for me most of the time. And then if there is more, I'll drop that on you. And if not, we'll move on to something else. But you can call if you have comments on it, because if I move on, then chances are I'm not coming back. I've said that to my wife so many times. She's like, go. All right. So we'll find out together whether I have any more thoughts next.
It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. Radio, podcasts, and cool social media content. Get all the TJ you can handle at WBT.com/TJ. Now, back to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Ooh. Stop what you're doing, ladies and gentlemen. We have a meanie that's been texting in here to me. Just a real meanie. Gonna hurt my feelings. This is some outfit from Minnesota because I see the area code. I don't even know if I can read this. It's so hurtful. Okay. It reads, "You are just the dumbest radio host in the history of the world." What? You think I'm dumb? God. I mean, I know there are people who were going to disagree with me, but I didn't know people would be just calling me dumb and insulting my intelligence. I wish I had a biting comeback I could throw out there, but my mind doesn't work that way. If it did, I would probably say, well, that's not what everybody else thinks, especially the people of the radio industry that put me on the list of the top 25 most influential radio personalities of the past quarter century. Yeah, I could have said that to Mr. or Miss Minnesota. But I will say this. If they moved out of Minnesota and they came to this area, especially if they were from Minneapolis, then they do have a little sense. Nobody would want to live there, but an idiot in Minneapolis. But anyway, Mr. or Ms. Minnesota, I may have to type this one, but I'm going to tell you what I'm going to type to them. They're banned from ever listening to this show again. Okay. Well, you know what? You are now banned from ever listening to my show again. Smarty pants. How's that? And then let me add some. What should I add? You don't deserve the highbrow knowledge and wit that I am providing to those who are appreciative of my enormous talents. Have a nice night and rest of your life. We are officially broken up. How many more send-offs should I put? Like, goodbye. See you later. Take care.
See you never.
Take care. Wash your hair. Lovingly. Mr. TJ. There it goes. And I tried to put a typo or two in there so it makes it seem like, look, see, I'm right. He's an idiot.
That'll teach him.
Yeah. I'm telling you. I'm going to rise up and I ain't going to take it no more. That's what's going to happen. Woo. Now, I enjoyed that. I really do. Let's see. Got some more stuff coming in here. Oh, this guy's saying what I say at night when I sign off. God loves you and ain't nothing you can do about it. I get that from a preacher friend of mine. He's been a preacher at churches all over this area, and he is now the new preacher at. They've transferred him to a big Methodist church in Concord, and he always says that, meaning, everybody's a sinner, and you think you're lost, and that God, is too put out with you to help you anymore, and all that, and it's not true. God always loves you. You can do whatever you want to do to try to get him not to love you, but it's not going to work. And so that's his catchphrase, and he said I could use it. But I had to buy him lunch for him to agree to it. You know how those preachers are. They're always looking for a free meal from somebody, aren't they? They always want a free meal. So there you go. God loves you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Oh, so this guy says, oh, love it. I'm a preacher's kid. Well, then you know what I'm talking about, because you probably done some stuff that would test God's patience. Yeah, you know that. You know that. All right, so here's a new rule. Don't say anything mean to me. I don't say mean things about other people. I am Mr. Kid Gloves is what I am. I treat everyone with kid gloves. I never want to upset anybody. I never insult anybody. I'm just here, basically to have fun, because I'm not here for the money, obviously. So I'm here to have fun with you and entertain you and warn you against the evils of liberalism, Marxism, communism, and democratism. See? So, have fun, Mr. or Miss Minnesota. Relax. Relax. You're all right. Trust me. Trust me. You're all right. All right, so we have a different type of TJ on the News coming up next. It's actually a lazy edition of TJ on the News coming up next.
More of the TJ Ritchie Show is coming up on News Talk 1110 and 99.3.
Hear the TJ Ritchie Show every weeknight at 7 Eastern. Stream it live at tjritchie.com or listen later as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or my media center at tjritchie.com. You'll be so glad you did, hopefully. That's tjritchie.com.
Live from the big city of Charlotte, North Carolina, it's TJ on the News.
News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. Jazz. So lovely to have you tonight. 704-570-1110 is the phone number. You want to use that. You can also text it on the text line driven by Liberty Buick GMC. Let me tell you something before we get started. This is how you know that I try to take care of my peoples here, the staff. I was running late today. I didn't have time to put together the full production of TJ on the News, with the stories and then the theme songs that goes with each story and all of that. And I told young Isaac, so you're not going to be able to do that tonight. And he was hurt by it. It's his favorite segment on the show. We're not going to be doing one tomorrow night because it's Cleanup Friday, and we don't do it on Cleanup Friday. So I said, okay, hang on a minute. I'll throw some stories together, but we won't have the theme music. So because Isaac is such a creature of habit, and he likes the TJ on the News segment.
I am, and I do.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. This is TJ on the News Unplugged. All right, there's a new term for people who have become super reliant on AI, especially OpenAI's ChatGPT. People who have to ask ChatGPT before doing anything are picking up the nickname sloppers. You're a slopper if you have to go to AI to ask everything that you should be doing. On TikTok, somebody said a friend has coined the word sloppers for people who are using ChatGPT to do everything for them. That's incredible verbiage. Slopper, such a good slur. It's like a man told a story about how he was on a first date, but was surprised when the date pulled out ChatGPT on her phone to ask it what she should order. The reason they chose the term slopper is because of AI slop, often garbled, low-effort content online. So I guess it's when you're using AI and it's just not telling you anything worth it. It's just stupid. You're a slop. Can you imagine being so dependent upon a machine that you can't even order what you want at a restaurant without asking? But because young people today are so hooked on being having a backup for everything they do. Like you don't have enough confidence in yourself. You're worried that you're going to get made fun of or something. So you always want a backup. It's like people who, and I'm one of these people, who have gotten used to using GPS to go everywhere. I can be going somewhere and I know how to get there, but sometimes I still want the backup of having the GPS on in case something comes up and it can send me in a different direction. I mean, I put too much attention on it, it'll send me right to hell is where it'll send me. Got to be careful with that. Okay, so they've done a survey about your birthday and how seriously you take it. And according to this new survey, 22% of people take their birthday, quote unquote, extremely seriously. It's even higher than that among Gen Zers and millennials. Makes sense. Some people get depressed about being a year older, but most of this seriousness is about wanting to feel special and have it be memorable. All right, so here's reading between the lines. These are women. And and feminine men. Because if you're a man, let's say starting at the age of 18, and you're making a huge deal out of your birthday, that's not right in the manhood. Men are not supposed to make a big deal out of their birthdays. That's for women and children. Look at me. And the children and the women make a big deal out of their birthdays for the same reason. The number one reason is because they want trinkets. Women love getting free trinkets. They're driven by it. So that's why they like birthday, and they even have birthday months and birthday weeks and, all of that stuff. But trust me, hopefully some young guy has learned something here tonight, that if you are an adult male, don't make a big deal out of your birthday. It's very feminine. Do you make a big deal out of yours, Isaac?
Absolutely not.
No.
I worked all day on my 24th.
You even wake up telling people, like you run into like people that are acquaintances and all, and go, today's my birthday.
No, I was working here on my birthday, and Winterbull didn't know till the last hour of his show.
All right, so Winterbull, you probably don't know because you only listen to my show on the station. He's a fella that works on the station from 3 until 6 p.m. Nobody's ever heard of him. Don't worry if you haven't. Just kidding. He's the most celebrated talk show host. Blah, blah, blah. What about you, Andrew? Are you making a big deal out of your birthday?
I mean, I might have when I was younger, but now that I'm older, no.
Yeah, how old are you?
I am 23. I'll be 24 in October.
Okay, we're good. I always love people tell you how old they're going to be. That's usually a Southern thing. You ask somebody, hey, how old are you? And they go, I'll be 31 in 6 months.
I just said it because it's close proximity. But
yeah. I go, okay, so you're 30. Well, yeah, if you want to put it that way. Well, I mean, that's the way to put it. You're 30. Or when they don't even give you a date, they just say, I'll be 31. When? In 2 years? How old are you now? It's not that hard of a question. If you're laughing, you know that you do the same thing. I do that. All right. A 31-year-old man in California was pulled over last weekend, and the police searched the vehicle after seeing a weed pen on the dash. Turns out he also had 400 pounds of magic mushrooms in his car and bukus of cash, $370,000 in cash, vacuum sealed in bundles. He was arrested, booked on a series of charges. Charge number 1, being an idiot. Man. You know what? I know it's hard for those police not to at least grab just like a little bit of drug money from time to time. They get in trouble for that, though. You can't do it. But I know they're tempted.
I think they should divvy it up.
Yeah, I think that's where the drug money should go when they seize it. They should split it up amongst the good police officers.
Take a portion of it out, and it's a bonus at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's Christmas party money.
Be a heck of a Christmas party.
No, I mean, they hand it out at the Christmas party like bonus, like Christmas bonus. Okay, here we go. Last story. 94-year-old William Shatner is reportedly terrified of death and looking for ways to cheat it, like being frozen or having his head pickled in a jar so he can be brought back if science ever makes that possible. I mean, I don't know that this is true. William Shatner is kind of kooky. I like him. I've always liked. I don't like Star Trek. I'm not a nerd. That's why I'm America's coolest conservative. I don't like shows about space and science fiction and that sort of thing. But I do think he's funny in other shows and all that. I think he's great. But that's a special kind of narcissism, I think. If you're trying to preserve your body so you can be brought back to life when the science will allow it, I mean, come on.
Ted Williams has his head frozen.
Yeah, I know. I thought he had his whole body frozen. Ted Williams, the great baseball player. Yeah, I think it was what do they call it? Cryogenics or something like that. But did they finally thaw him out and bury him? I know there was a court case going on that maybe his like part of his family wanted to thaw him out. And I don't know. Let's look that up during the break. Let's Google that, young Isaac. See what we could find.
We'll get sloppy. We'll use ChatGPT.
Okay. That'll be good. All right. So there you go. The lazy edition of TJ on the News.
The TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. He's America's coolest conservative. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Uh-oh, y'all. We got a back and forth going on the Texas, Minnesota that sent the mean, hateful text earlier that said that I'm the dumbest radio host in the history of the world. And then I've been playing back and forth and being sarcasm and all of this stuff. So then I'm going to say she. I don't know he or she, but I'm just going to say she. Said, please tell to TJ. Now, I've been talking personally back and forth with her, since she sent the first one. So there's no please tell me. I'm reading them. Please tell to TJ he can blame the Democrats whenever, wherever he wants, but that will never change the racism in him. Such an idiot. And then right after that, I just pray his kids marry a person of color. I guess that will soften him a little bit. Just an idiot, or such an idiot. So now I get a little serious because, I don't take that. So I said, you are so way off, but that's the short-sighted view from someone who just wants to call someone a racist without knowing a thing about them. You don't even know what racist means. Typical. And then I put, what color are you? And then I responded, after that, I said, I'm guessing you suffer from white guilt. And then she just sent 2 laughing faces. Now, I am, without a doubt, an expert on race relations. And I've told you before, I did not grow up in a diverse environment. I grew up in central Louisiana in a small town that was 50% black and 50% white. That doesn't mean diversity. When that's those, you got 2 groups of people and they're equal in numbers, right? So I am an expert on racial relations. And the reason I know that you have people who suffer from white guilt always pointing the finger whenever they hear some white person be critical of a black person or any other quote unquote person of color, that means they're a racist. I was pointing out when this first comment came in about how ridiculous it is for people to say that Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle are promoting Nazi propaganda and eugenics by saying she has good genes and it gives her blue eyes and blonde hair. So white guilt comes in many facets, right? Most of the time, white guilt is for the precise purpose of a white person trying to gain and prove moral authority over other white people. Okay? So it's a form of racism in itself, or bigotry. Not racism, but bigotry. Because what you're saying is that you're not really speaking for someone that you think has been done wrong. You're speaking just because you want to prove that you're not racist by like the person you've accused of being racist, right? So you can stand back and go, I'm better than he is. Don't put me in the same category with that racist white person. And it's a selfish act because you don't really care about the well-being of the group you're pretending to champion. You only care about how you look and what people think of you. Another example of that is, let's say everybody's standing around at work and you're having a little fun talking and people are sharing funny stories or funny lines or whatever. And there's one black person in the group and everybody's saying funny things. But when the black person says something funny, there's always going to be one white person in that group that falls all over themselves, just over the top laughing. He's so funny. He's so funny. And they don't think he's so funny. They don't think he's any funnier than anybody else, but they think it makes them look like, oh, he's going to see that I'm not racist. It's quite sad, actually. And they really hate it when you call them out for it. You see, I treat people the same. I grew up treating everybody the same. Which includes if you're going to have fun and make a joke here or there or whatever. If you think to yourself, oh, I can't make a joke. Like Lonnie, for example, that's in here every night. I got Lonnie and Isaac. Lonnie's black. If I said, oh, I can only say this to Isaac because I don't want to offend Lonnie. And I wait for Lonnie to leave the room before I say something. Now, does that seem more bigoted than if I just talked normally and had the confidence talking to Lonnie that I'm not going to say anything to offend him because I'm not that type of person? But you walk around going, oh, they can't take it. Or the white guilt that says, oh, I have to speak up for the downtrodden, the person of color, because they don't have what it takes to speak up for themselves. I, mighty whitey, have to stoop down to their level and be their spokesperson. Speak up for them. That's why guilt. And it's so you can attempt to gain moral authority. So you look good, not so they look good. Seen it my whole life. And the way the Democrats have driven these wedges between us, it's worked exactly the way they wanted it to where a white person can't say anything about race that isn't praising and most of the time false praise on people of color, or they're considered racist. You call you a racist. But here's the thing. White people have been falsely accused of being racists for so long. It's the smart bomb that race hustlers and guilty whites throw at white people all the time who aren't being racist. It's getting to the point where it's not working. Let me tell you something. I don't care whether this clown thinks I'm a racist or not, because I know I'm not. And I'm also not going to sit and argue with somebody and go, I'm not a racist, and start giving examples of why I'm not a racist. Here, I have this friend and that, and I do this for this community, and da-da-da-da-da. I gave you an example a minute ago because I'm trying to prove a point of how their minds work. But I'm not going to argue with somebody about whether or not I'm a racist because I know that I'm not. And I'm not going to waste time on somebody who's got a vendetta and a little touch of narcissism. But it's not working as well anymore, and they don't know how to take it. Like the smart bomb that they lob to clear out any challenge to their stupid ideas is not working anymore. Sure, it may work some, but that's what we're seeing in this ad for American Eagle. They put out a sarcastic response yesterday that we read last night. Fantastic. And so far, Sydney Sweeney hasn't taken to the social medias to apologize and throw herself on the mercy of the race hustlers. People know when they are being finessed or when they're being falsely accused, and they know that anytime somebody starts trying to grovel, it makes it worse. It's blood in the water. And people are starting to see, and people of all races are starting to see who is right in these situations and who's not. And just because a white person says something you don't agree with and you call them a racist, accuse them of being a racist, doesn't make it true. And you can go pound sand because I know I'm not a racist. You, on the other hand, may need to check what your true intentions are. How you have to go around wrapping yourself in some flag of, I'm a good white person. I care about all people of color more than I care about my own people. Look at me. Aren't I fantastic? That's a form of racism. Now, quickly, because I got to take a break. Racism is when you believe that your race is superior to other races by birth. That's what you believe. It's not that you criticize people of color. It's not that you may tell an offensive joke. It's not any of that stuff. That if you're telling offensive jokes and you're saying negative things about people of a certain race, that's bigotry. It's horrible, but the word's bigotry. You're a bigot. A racist means that you think you are genetically superior to other races all the way around. So there. Take that to your house of white guilt. More coming up.
It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Hear the TJ Ritchie Show every weeknight at 7 Eastern. Stream it live at tjritchie.com or listen later as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or my media center at tjritchie.com. You'll be so glad you did, hopefully. That's tjritchie.com.
Bringing the heat.
Oh, hot, hot, hot.
Whatever that means. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Okay. Look, I don't want to. I don't want y'all to think that I only get insulting texts and all up in here. I get a lot of nice ones, and I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody. But when I read the nice ones, it kind of seems like I'm bragging on myself, you know. So I try not to go too much into that, but I do appreciate it. I don't appreciate all you hateful ones. Hurts my heart. It hurts my heart, y'all. Okay, I thought this was really cool. There's a fellow named Adam Carolla. Maybe you've heard of him. He's a comedian and a host and all kinds of stuff. TV personality, radio personality, podcaster. And he posted this today on his X, and I thought it was very telling and says so much. This is a clip of John Kerry making weather predictions in 2009. This is what he said.
In 5 years, scientists predict we will have the first ice-free Arctic summer. That exposes more ocean to sunlight. Ocean is dark. It consumes more of the heat from the sunlight, which then accelerates the rate of the melting and warming rather than the ice sheet and the snow that used to reflect it back up into the atmosphere.
That sounds like if I were trying to explain some sort of calculus problem to somebody. And he was just lost. He didn't know what he was saying. But the main part is these commucrats have been warning everyone of the soon to be destruction of the planet. Now, I don't keep up with a lot of the news that goes on in the Arctic. I mean, if I'm flipping channels and I see some polar bears on there, I like that. I watch a nature documentary about polar bears or something. But I don't think I've seen any news about them being ice free. I don't think that's happened. He said 5 years, 2009. I'm not great with math, but I think it's been longer than 5 years. But you can go back in the history of these climate alarmists and you can look in their predictions and see, okay, well, that didn't come true. And they kind of, this is weird though, that in 2009, John Kerry was still doing that sort of thing because they learned their lesson, these communist climate alarmists. And they started saying, well, this is going to happen by the year, and they would name some year far in the future where they know anybody listening to them right now is going to be dead in that year. And they use the tactic of saying our kids and grandkids, what kind of world are we leaving them in, da-da-da-da-da, because they know that nobody's going to be standing here at that time and saying, you were wrong. I remember you said it was going to happen by this date, and it didn't. I mean, they're propagandists. And it does stem from Marxism, communism, because it's the de-industrial movement. Because they figure that if they can pass laws that we all have to follow according to whether or not we're killing the climate, they can control huge aspects of our lives that way. I mean, they already try to do it. What kind of light bulbs we can have, what kind of cars we can drive, what kind of stove we can have, what temperature we have to run the thermostats, and how cool we can let it be in our house. You know, all of those things that living in America in a capitalist free enterprise society that we don't have to worry about. They create, and again, they use the weak-minded to become their foot soldiers and go out and again trying to prove moral authority. I care more than you do. I care. Look at me. I care. Look at me. Celebrate me. Love me. Hug me. Kiss me. It's pathetic, but it does end up hurting us when you get these Marxists that have power. Look at the Green New Deal. You know, Sandy Cortez's big thing. Now, thank God we've got Donald Trump who can put a stop to some of this stuff, but who's coming after him? Who's the next one? Is the next one going to be stopping it, or is the next one going to be like whoever was the president during the Joe Biden administration and just run it more? And you know, they call the environmental movement They call it watermelon because it's green on the outside and red in the middle because it's communist. And it's so true. When I was a kid, I remember going to the library at school and seeing a cover of Time magazine, and they were warning of another ice age. Then it was the ozone layer was getting depleted because of the spray deodorants and air freshener that we were using. It was putting a hole in the ozone layer. Then the sun was just going to burn us up. They've tried so many different tactics until they finally settled upon climate change. Not global warming, because as soon as they call it global warming, you're going to have record low temperatures in most of places on Earth. But it's climate change. So that way it covers any extreme weather condition. They can always point and go, oh, these hurricanes are worse than they've ever been. They're stronger than they've ever been, more destructive. And then you look it up and go, no, actually, no, they're not. We must do something. You ever notice the Democrats are always the we must do something party? Something about guns, something about the environment, something about racism and all of the other mess. It's always, we must do something. We must do something about this police brutality. They're always alarmists about things, and that's why they never see anything good in the country. They never see the greatness of America because they want to tear it down so they can rule it. A well-informed public is kryptonite to the Democrat Party. They love it when somebody doesn't care anything at all about the issues, and all they do is, they watch reality shows and Netflix, and they don't care about any of it. They love that type of person because they can fool them better. They can take control of their minds easier. And ultimately, that's what makes conservatives 10 times more intelligent. I just said that as a dig. There are some smart liberals and Marxists. They're just not the ones that anybody ever sees. They're recluses. Every liberal must want to hide their intelligence, which is fine. All right, more coming up. Hang on.
The TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. Late, live, and local. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Okay, we got a couple of house cleaning things here. First of all, tomorrow is a special show. It is the second edition of the Friday cleanup, where we go through all of the stuff that the great material we didn't have time to get to through the week. We'll clean it up. And it's also ladies' night, ladies in free before 9. And it will also be Ask Me Anything night. So just a party going on. But right as we were coming back on the air, young Isaac and I were having, an important conversation about the issue that I think is of great concern of the entire country. And that is, he was talking about somebody's freestyle. He said, I don't like his songs as much, but I like his freestyle. Now, freestyle is when a rapper just makes up lyrics on the spot, supposedly. But I think a lot of times they have them in their pocket, coming out. But, and here is the thing. I am a fan of the old school rap, like Ice Cube and them. I wouldn't hit a dog in the butt with a Jay-Z CD, though. I'm West Coast. But if you want to have me lose interest in any rapper, have them start a freestyle. I just think that is so overrated. I don't find that to be that entertaining at all. I get it. It's, if you can do it, it's smart or whatever, but it's not, I don't like it.
I'll send you some. Change your mind.
You don't have to. I'm on it all the time. See, that's the difference between me and other old men. I am always on the stuff that is trending and popular and all of that. And some of the stuff I like. I'm not trying to be younger than my age, though, because I think that's, that's a sure sign that you're doing the wrong thing. You got some old man trying to dress and act and young and listen to young people's music and showing. It's like the guy, the 60-year-old guy at the club. But I do keep up with the trends and all that, because on my other show, my morning show, the demographic is younger than what this grown-up show is. So I always got to keep up with it. And I like hanging out with my kids. They're in their early 20s, and I pick up stuff from them, and that's no cap. And I know I got the Riz and all of that. The Riz is not a disease, ladies and gentlemen. It's short for charisma. But I just never have found the freestyle rapping to be entertaining or good. I like polished stuff. I want it to sound sweet and the perfection of it.
But doesn't it being like off the dome, current, like
off the dome, ladies and gentlemen, means off the top of your head. Your dome is your head to young people.
Doesn't that add a little bit to it? Make it a little bit better?
No. That's what I said. I give them credit for being smart enough to come up with it and all, but I don't like it as a form of entertainment. I don't care for it that much. But I do have another mention that I need to throw out here, and this is going to be bad news for people who don't like me or my show. Like the Minnesota person that we've been talking about. But you just need to know, I've only been in this format of radio for not even 3 months yet. But what you should know is I'm going to own it. I will own talk radio. Just to spite you. I'm coming for you. You won't be able to avoid me. I'm going to be everywhere. You know why? Because I can. How about that? I'm taking over. Taking over the whole format. Taking over every news talk station in America. Coast to coast. Sea to shining sea. And it's not really because I want to. It's because the people are going to demand it. I'm an addiction. There are a lot of people listening right now that have been jonesing for some TJ because I haven't been on the air in Charlotte for a few months. You see, I get in the bloodstream. That's why as soon as I come on the air, all these ladies start reaching out, commenting, calling. That doesn't happen with every host on the show. As a matter of fact, it happens with one host, and that is I. Because I'm getting into the bloodstream of everyone. So now the husbands and wives can listen together. That's how I really get them. I spread the TJ. And you can't stop it with a mask or social distancing. No. You can't stop it. So you haters either don't ever turn your radio on again, because I'm going to be on every day part too. Every show on this station is going to be me. And then every other station. And more and more and more. I wasn't going to do that till y'all reached out and gave me a reason to seek revenge on your mean comments. And if you don't believe me, walk up to anybody in Charlotte, North Carolina, especially any women over 35, and say, what do you know about this TJ that's been on the radio in Charlotte for so long? You're going to get an earful. So you might as well join the revolution. Join the revolution. You'll be much happier. You'll be much smarter. You'll thank me later. So, gotta go now. Mark Levin's coming up next. God loves you, and ain't nothing you can do about it.
It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Hear the TJ Ritchie Show every weeknight at 7 Eastern. Stream it live at tjritchie.com or listen later as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or my media center at tjritchie.com. You'll be so glad you did, hopefully. That's tjritchie.com.